Okay, good evening everyone. My name's Marney and I'm a kinesiologist. So I'm not going to be high level technical today, it's more back down to basics, all right? So I graduated, and I know a lot of the ladies here from the College of Australian Institute of Applied Science, and I went there to learn nutrition and musculoskeletal anatomy and physiology and things like that, because I felt just with the kinesiology studies it wasn't enough, that the gut, as everyone has said today, is a big part of what we do. Right? So I started to go down that track and got really interested in nutrition, but then I started noticing that the predominant reason clients came to me was stress. So although I was going away from it, or trying to go to nutrition away from stress, I found I always came back to a stress factor. So my clients came to me if they were stressed. They were either stressed physically, so they had a physical manifestation. They were stressed emotionally. Everybody was stressed emotionally, which meant that their emotion was overtaking their life. All right, so if your emotion is overtaking your life, you're not in control anymore. And another stress that is predominant in my clinic is spiritual stress. So if people don't feel they're in the right space or in the right place in their life, they're affected spiritually. Because if you think about it, you're made from like a big triangle, and you've got to have emotional, spiritual and physical well balance to cope well in life. And in today's society, we're affected by many things, not just our food. We're affected by things like air conditionings, we're affected by electromagnetic radiation, we're affected by many things, microwaves, all these kind of stuff, some of which makes our life a lot more comfortable, but has a negative effect at some stage. What you also know is that your body is an amazing and intricate machine that can adapt and cope with a lot of things that are going on in your life, right? The time it doesn't cope as well is when your stress bucket is up here. Now my stress bucket, I've named Henry. So I've got cards for everyone in the back. Henry is your stress bucket. Okay, so if you imagine a line running through the middle of your body, on one side you've got Henry, on the other side you've got Liza. Now my dad named Henry because I went and said, I need to name my stress bucket, what can I call him? And he said, oh, Deliza. I'm like, who the hell's Deliza? And he said, you know, the hole in the bucket. I went, oh, brilliant. So Henry's your stress bucket, Liza or Deliza is your life energy. As Henry gets full to overflowing, Deliza falls on the floor and she goes into hiding. And your life energy is that integral aspect of life where you jump out of bed and you're all excited about what's going to happen in the day, or you're keen and you're pumped. You don't open the covers, put your leg out and go, oh no, it's too hard, and go back to bed. When that happens, Henry's full. So you have to learn ways and techniques to keep the small stuff out of Henry. Because if you can keep enough small stuff out, it leaves room in the bucket for life's curveballs. And we all have them. And it doesn't matter what they come from. It could come from the food, it could come from the microwave, it could come from just an emotional trauma that's happened in your life. And you don't always have control over the bigger life curveballs. All right, so it comes along, it says, oh, you're looking a bit complacent there, let's just roll you one. And you've either got to jump or have the energy to do something about it. All right, so you really do have to learn, and that's what I found. I also work a lot with the elderly, all right, and their stress buckets are huge. They're overflowing. And they're a generation that get told, you're old, you're fat, you've got cancer, you're full of arthritis, you're all these conditions. You're not a person. Take all these pills and all these conditions may go, or it may get worse. But whatever the case, don't tell anyone about it because you're just considered old and whinging. And that's kind of where they're put, in this little basket over here, right? And sometimes they don't have the capacity to talk out, so we have to help them to cope better in life, all right? And we have to remember they've all lived through their lives, so we've got to help them use their last bits of their life as calmly as they can. So I'd go along and I started writing all these things down that I found would help these clients, especially the older ones, to cope better. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm writing the same things all the time. So I went home and had a great idea. I wrote an ebook. I'm like, this is awesome. I'll give my clients a link to the ebook and they can download the ebook and they've got it in paper. No, it's not going to work. They don't always have computers. So the ebook didn't work in that aspect. However, the concept works. So what I did is I printed the ebook and I'd take it round to them and leave it with them. But the kind of things I was teaching them about are the grassroots of life. And we've talked about a lot of them today. We've talked about smiling. The first thing I'll get a client to learn to do, or to remember how to do, is to smile. Because when they're not smiling, life's not sweet. When life's not sweet, their spleen's not working. All right? Because that's your sweetness of life on a metaphysical level. So, and I had this one client, she was an elderly lady, and she had to put her husband in the nursing, or she was looking at putting him in the nursing home side of it. So they lived in a retirement village. She was elderly, he was elderly, he had a stroke, she was a skinny little thing, she couldn't do anything, and she was feeling really bad about where she was at. So we did a session for her, and I said to her, one of her homeworks was, you have to smile at 3 people a day. It's pretty basic, isn't it? Reckon? Easy. So I'd bounce away and come back a week later and, how's that smiling going? And she went, oh, couldn't do it. I went, what do you mean? It's a smile. She said, no. Why? Because, I smile all the time. She said, there was no one to smile at. I went, really? Her bucket's up here, her life energy's down here. That's when you get them in your clinic like that, they cannot find a reason to smile. All right? So you have to teach them that it's okay to smile again, that they're not laughing at life, they're giving themselves the happy hormones. All right? So what I said to her was, oh that's okay, I'll sort this out. Smile at yourself in the mirror. Bad move, that one. She was so low down here that the last person she wanted to smile at was herself. In fact, she struggled to look at herself in the mirror. All right? Now, if you're not at that level, it's a little bit hard to conceive of people being that low. But they are that low. That's when they find us for assistance. All right? So, right, plan B, C, D, whatever. So anyhow, I said, well, look, what you got to do is get in front of the mirror and just go like that. And she went, why? And I said, because your body remembers that means to smile. So that your muscles and your body knows that moving those muscles up there means smile. It also knows that smile means happy hormones. So you're getting it started. So even if you can't feel like it, just go and do it. She went, right. So I thought, I wonder what's going to happen here. So I went out that day and I found this little animal, and it was like you know those dangly leg things that you can buy, and they're pieces of fruit and they're really ridiculous, they're funny. So I found a piece of watermelon. It had the most inane grin on it and dangly legs. And I went round back to see her and I said, right, I found you something to smile at. And I took it out of my bag and she went, oh, isn't that funny? And I said, there, that's what you do, you smile at it. So that was her homework then. If she could find no one to smile at, she would smile at this piece of fruit. It was giving her hope for the future. It was teaching her she could smile again. All right, so it's giving her back a bit of control. And it's basic. How much more basic can a smile be? So, you know, teach your clients or teach your friend to smile again. And if they can't find something to smile at, help them find a reason for them to give a grin. And usually it's kids' photos, or you might have a favourite holiday spot and it's in an album somewhere. Get the album out, take the picture out, have it planted somewhere where you can see it. All right, so that was my first basic. Then came the breathing. We had to teach her to breathe again because she's shallow breathing, right? She's in stress, she's in adrenal exhaustion. So she's breathing really, really quickly, but shallowly. So to breathe better, purely put your shoulders back. When you're low, when you're disheartened, you're like this. You're protecting your heart chakra, right? Your shoulders are forward and you're walking like this. If someone sees you, do they want to talk to you when you look like that? Usually they run a mile because they haven't got time to listen to your challenges or issues. Whereas if you put your shoulders back like that, immediately you open your heart chakra and you start to breathe. You give your diaphragm room to move up and down. All right, so purely by that simple fact of pulling your shoulders back like that raises your life energy straight away. All right, so Liza gets off the chair and Henry gets out a bit. All right, so you've got to get this balance in your life. You've got to learn to do things that are basic, that make you happy. Walking along the beach, what is your favourite place in life? Well, whatever it is, think about it. Think how enjoyable that is. Smell it, see it, taste it. Bring all your 5 senses into that image. And that image can't be taken from you regardless of where you are. It's yours. It's the essence of that place, right? Knowing takes the essence away from you. Okay? Another one we've talked about tonight is exercise. Most of my clients, the word exercise is a death sentence. They don't want to know about it. So remember, they're down here. They can't walk anywhere or don't want to walk anywhere. So I get them to walk to the letterbox as long as they're not on acreage, right? Because at least they've got to the letterbox, and then you can throw a few curveballs in there and say, smile at 3 things when you walk there. You know, so you can get the whole process going. So they're being given basic things, there's no drugs, there's nothing they've got to buy, They just can do it, and they can start incorporating them into their lives. All right, so none of them are rocket science, but they're all aimed at reducing Henry and raising your life energy. When your life energy is up here, you can rule the world. There's no stopping you. All right, so de-stress your life, get your life energy up. Thank you.